The Podsters, episode 16.
Sweet 16.
Wow, we're having all kinds of celebrations.
Woohoo!
Last time it was quinceañera. This time we're doing Sweet 16.
Yep.
Bum cha la 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 la. Happy birthday, Sweet 16.
What's that other one? 16 candles. I don't know the rest of this. And I'm surprised I even sang that. Sorry to hurt
guys.
anybody's ears.
Happy belated Easter.
Yeah, happy belated Easter. Hope everybody had a great time on Easter. If you don't celebrate Easter, hope you had a good weekend. Sunday, good weekend, whatnot. So I'm pretty exhausted from the weekend, and that's kind of why we're a little late posting our podcast.
Yeah, we just didn't have the energy to muster up yesterday, but we'll do it today instead.
Yeah. We helped my mom decorate the church for Easter. Well, the church altar, I guess.
That was Saturday.
Yeah, that was Saturday, and that takes a lot of energy for some reason.
Plus, we went shopping. We went to
plus we went
local
shopping,
grocery store.
And
what else did we do?
I did a lot of baking. I baked carrot
and I cleaned the house,
night.
so we did laundry. It was crazy.
Yeah, totally busy this weekend. And then Sunday,
fun day,
Easter day for us. We had a little egg hunt with our dogs.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was
the
fun.
Easter bunny came to the dogs.
And we had fun with that. And then we did my side of the family's Easter tradition is to get together and barbecue and stuff ourselves full of food and
that we did.
Bust cascarones on each other's heads, which I absolutely hate. But I deal with it because I grew up with it. Chris, on the other hand, can't stand it.
No, I can't. Total mess.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to explain to people what that is, though.
It's a tradition, and forgive me for not really looking up or being prepared to discuss the tradition. I'm not exactly sure why it is.
I can tell you why that is.
What is it?
It originated in Spain in the royal family. They gave each other's perfumed eggs for Easter for some reason.
Okay.
It was like, I guess more like, this is medieval times, so I guess the castle stunk. And they gave each other these beautiful, elaborate perfumed
adorned eggs.
Yeah.
With perfume in it.
With perfume in it, so, it would sit there and smell nice. And then later on, when it got down to more peasant people, after they conquered Mexico, they started filling eggs with
confetti or whatever.
Confetti pepper. Yeah, I don't know what they used way back then, eggshells or something.
Yeah.
And then somebody made up the lame excuse just to, get to crush it over people.
Yeah.
That would bring you good luck.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, good for you. You did your homework.
Yeah, I always do. I want to know where traditions and everything comes from. Because it's kind of like math. If I understand why it's applied, I get it.
Right.
But like when you have one of those math teachers that just go, that's how it is.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's like, no, that's not
or
just
because
how it
I
is.
said so.
Right. And it's kind of the same for me with all traditions.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm interested in why. Why do we do that? Because I don't buy it because it's tradition. No, it must have come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to. I'm a nerd. Well, I try to read up on traditions and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's good for you that you do that because you're not from here, for one. So if you want to know,
but I've done that.
But the sad thing is that I've grown up here. I'm born and raised here, and I just know that it's a tradition. I never really questioned why it is.
That's why I say sometimes, because when I ask, I'm not trying to be annoying. I really genuinely want to know, and people just look at me like I'm an idiot, and they go,
yeah, but the thing is,
tradition.
It's so funny, though, because, the traditions are passed down from, families to families and stuff like that. Different generations and stuff have the same traditions, and nobody really questions why we do it. We're just supposed to do it. And that to me is a big turnoff. If I don't know what the tradition is or why we do it, and it seems kind of silly, then I'm not going to do it.
Even if it doesn't seem silly, I just like to know where things come from. But thanks to the internet, I tend to skip the dancing cats and farting babies. I look things up and I edumacate myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the origins and tradition of that.
And we were discussing the tradition of the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, I still haven't looked it up.
Yeah, but, I mean, you asked me, is that how you generally do Easter egg hunts? Y'all just throw a bunch of eggs out for the kids to find and see who grabs as many as they can, kind of thing. But your Easter tradition in Sweden would have been...
Oh, you really hype.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I'm talking to you.
Try and call back later. I have really bad reception. No, I mean it's in a sense it's same but different. But you get the eggs in Sweden they're more decorated. They're more elaborate, like decorated eggs, and they're bigger eggs. They're usually made almost out of paper mache.
Okay.
And then they're filled with a lot of candy, and then. Like, instead of here, how you toss out a bunch of eggs at the same time and let kids go, the kids there have to go, like, one by one. And one egg is hidden. And then they can ask, like, kind of the location in terms of height. If it's hidden high in the between. Fågel, fisk eller mittemellan.
Yes.
And then one kid goes to search for it. It's really hidden. You try to be clever with where you hide it.
That's interesting. I mean, I think that sounds a lot more fun than just searching a huge yard or trying to, avoid ant piles and stuff and getting stung by whatnot out in the fields.
Yeah.
That's how I enjoyed Easter egg hunts.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, so that was
this weekend.
Yeah, that was our weekend, and that's why we're late again. We were even late to work today.
That we were. And next weekend, at least for me, will be another weekend full of work. I gotta do yard work. I have to paint an accent wall.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to start a new guitar build.
Woohoo, that's very exciting.
Hopefully, yes. We'll see.
And there's going to be an interesting meeting between family members on my side. But I won't talk about it now, but it's just that it's going to be interesting. That's all I have to say.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
She's trying to build a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I might divulge more information later. I'm just not sure if it's cool to do it right now, or I guess divulge in family drama.
Nah, we'll see where it takes us.
The other day we were out on the patio and that fly kept bothering me.
And me. I hate flies.
I can't stand flies, and they're so gross and dirty, and you know how I get whenever they come into the house. I turn into a mad woman with the fly swatter.
Gotta hunt it down.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water. And
that made me think about a nursery rhyme that we used to say. I guess I remember saying it more or less in kindergarten.
Uh-huh.
And that song or that nursery rhyme, I couldn't stand. And I know it was the purpose of this nursery rhyme was for, I guess, memorizing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a bit dark and a bit morbid, I guess, for a bunch of 5-year-olds to be singing this little song. But then again, what other nursery rhymes out there are pretty kind of like inappropriate, maybe?
I don't know.
Or they're just kind of weird.
They're weird and messed up.
Because, these lyrics make, if you were the type of kid
So
that
what was
I
it, like
was,
an old lady?
It was the old lady who swallowed the fly.
And I don't know why didn't she die?
Yeah,
It's
it is written by Rose Bone or Bone. I don't know. It's Bonne and Alan Mills, and it's I know an old lady. It starts out as I know an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. That right there is pretty morbid.
Yeah,
and gross, because it's like, okay, why are we discussing this old lady who swallowed a fly in kindergarten? One. And then it proceeds to go on that she swallowed a spider to catch the fly.
And then she swallows a bird, and then a cat, and then a dog. Everything to eat the thing that came before.
Yeah,
basically.
And
it's a
like,
long one.
Okay, if you're the type of kid that I was, my mind was boggling with all kinds of like images and questions of, why the hell is this lady swallowing a fly, and how did she manage to eat, a cat or a cow or a horse or whatnot,
I guess, I don't know, if they made them a little bit morbid so it's easy for kids to memorize
Catch on it questions their...
Because it's like that other
it makes them
rhyme.
question what they're singing, and
I guess.
And makes them remember what...
Yeah, because a lot of them are a little bit weird and morbid.
Sequence each thing is on and stuff. I don't know.
Well, it's like that one, Mother Mary held her daughter 30 minutes underwater.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, I can't remember the rest, but it's morbid too. It's basically a mom who's drowning her daughter just to see the bubbles come up there. I mean, it's morbid. That's when you tell creepy. Kids. Yeah, it's creepy, but so is eating flies and spiders and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they did that.
I don't know.
Nursery rhymes are weird.
So I'm calling bullshit on those kind of nursery rhymes. I mean, I don't think kids should be subjected to that kind of stuff.
That kind of violence.
Yeah, or that grotesque violence and, I don't know, debauchery. Yeah, so bullshit to you, weird nursery rhymes. And I'm pretty sure that some of those nursery rhymes were like written by pedophiles or something. I don't know, nursery rhymes seem so damn creepy to me.
They are. But it's really weird because nursery rhymes are creepy. A lot of old children tales too.
Yeah, like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, the original Grimm, the Brothers Grimm.
Oh yeah,
things. They're really messed up. There's another one. I can't remember what they call. It's almost like a compilation of short stories, like to teach kids etiquette and good morals and everything. And it's all crazy stuff. I remember we had them at home, and I can't remember who was credited. Just like the Grimm brothers, they obviously didn't write all this stuff. They compiled it through oral traditions. But this one German guy, he illustrated a lot of these. And there's stories about like the kid that didn't want to eat. So he just gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier because he refuses to eat his food. And he comes up with all these tricks to not eat his soup. Like he drills holes in his spoon and stuff. And he just gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. And one day he goes out and there's a wind. So the wind blows him away. He just disappears. I'm trying to think of the other one.
That's kind of creepy too.
Yeah, it's all kinds of creepy. And then there's something with a boy that doesn't brush his teeth or comb his hair or cuts his nails.
Well, there's a little legend of the boy who cried wolf.
Well, that one too. But this is not it. It ends up somehow with he finally has to do it. Because his nails are so messed up, when he tries to use the scissors to do things, it's like he cuts his fingers off and he happens to like cut his throat off instead of his hair because... Yeah, it's all kinds of messed up.
Ooh.
And I mean, at one point, that's what parents like read and showed their kids. It's all kinds of morbid.
I mean, were these things created to scare kids straight?
I guess they were. I mean,
teaching them lessons and stuff.
Yeah, I guess teaching them lessons to become, productive, good members of society.
Huh.
Back in the 1800s.
Yeah, and it was just carried down, homogenized throughout the years. Crazy
stuff.
Yeah. So if you have any scary, or not scary, but if you let us know what nursery rhymes you think are morbid or a bit odd, strange,
inappropriate for children, but fun as adults.
Exactly.
Yeah, let us know.
But I mean, I could see how the lady who swallowed a fly, or I know an old lady, whatever the name of this thing is, I could see how that could be interesting for adults to, discuss or, play drinking games to or something like that.
Oh, totally. But I don't know if it's kids, good for 5-year-olds.
It's not good for 5-year-olds. Creepy ass teachers that exposed us to that stuff. What's wrong with you? You should be retired by now or dead.
Whichever comes first.
Right. And that brings me to, oh my gosh, this chair.
Are you sure it's the chair?
It's the chair.
Okay.
I'm moving around in it. Okay, so
that brings you to
the question of the day,
which is
how is it possible to support the live music scene or the local music scene if you don't necessarily like the type of music that they play?
Oh yeah, that's a great one. I don't know. You guys should let us know. How do you do that?
Yeah, I
mean, I think it's kind of, as with a lot of other things, it's a bit of a difference if you live in a big city versus a small town.
Right. And unfortunately, we live in a small town.
Right.
And I really like live music, and I would love to go to more, local shows, because I mean, it's either Austin or San Antonio for us. And to drive all the way out there to spend money on drinks, and then you don't even really want to drink because you have to drive all the way back home, or you can drink and get an Uber back to your hotel, but that's more money to spend.
Yeah, then you're ending up spending hundreds for a $5 show.
Yeah, and for a show that probably isn't even worth it.
Right.
Half the time. But so we have very limited resources when it comes to live music here in our town, and I would have to say that the majority of the music that's being played here is country, Americana, or what Chris likes to call flip-flop music.
Yeah, and a lot of cover bands.
Yeah,
and that's kind of
cover bands. I'm kind of okay with cover bands because they're somewhat entertaining if they're good.
They are, but I think what's sad, and it's the same in big cities, even though, like I said, there's other resources there. What's sad is that cover bands tend to get paid more than artists who write and perform their own music.
What?
Because it's a safe bet for a bar or a club, whatever you want to call them, to bring in a cover band that'll generate people showing up.
Yeah, if there's a specific cover band, you're going to draw in a certain type of crowd or something.
Even if you run like an 80s cover band, they know that the majority of people, some will come there and really dig the band and the songs, but it's familiarity to the rest of people too.
Yeah.
Versus to bring in an act that isn't very known to play their own material. They don't generate usually as big of an audience. So the safe bet is to bring in a cover act.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like that for a long time, where if you're a struggling independent artist performing your own material, you might get percentage of the bar, or you might get, if you sell cheap tickets, you might get the entrance of the door, and that's it. And it's no guarantees, whereas a cover band can make between $500 and $1,000 a night playing other people's songs.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I think that's kind of sad, because with arts in general, I feel that it's become so commercialized.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And especially in the US, where the mentality is that art of any form, it doesn't matter if it's movies, painted art, or whatever you call it, fine arts, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or music, it should be commercially sustained on its own. And if it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's bullshit, considering how much money local governments and big governments spend on something like sports, for instance, where they go in and they purchase the land, they build a new sports arena, or in schools, they build a brand new sport. It's important to have a new football field or
right. Yeah.
But when it comes to music and arts, it's like, yeah, you got to do it on your own. If not, sorry, tough shit.
Sell some chocolate bars. Maybe I'll make a few bucks to
right, or try to get your friends to buy your t-shirts.
Another chair for your little band or orchestra or whatnot.
And it's really sad, because I think that it infringes on the actual artistic perspectives of both fine arts and music.
It oppresses the creativity.
Yeah, because I have nothing. I can fully understand if you're a hobby, so to speak, musician, as in you're someone who genuinely likes music, you kind of picked up an instrument, you're decent at it, it's an interest of yours, and you can get some friends together and you start playing. That's cool, but the problem is that now what generates any sort of income for you, even if it's just covering the actual cost it takes to get, the show going, you have to play covers. And I think that kills creativity. Because to learn songs that are 40 years old or whatever today, you're burping up same old, same old.
Yeah.
And if there's no real outlet for new artistic expression, we're not going to get any new songs. You know what I mean? We're never going to get a new Freebird written, because everybody plays it safe and play Leonard Skinner's Freebird. And it just
seems like the music industry is in that kind of rut right now. There's nothing there that's really that stands out, that creates a movement.
No, because one of the problems, unfortunately, even though we rag on them and with all right, the way the record companies have gone, way back when they did rule the music industry, there was money set aside from the really big artists. A chunk of the money they generated was put aside for, I don't know what you want to call it, non-safe ventures, as in, we'll sign this crazy band that
it's kind of like an insurance policy.
Kind of no, but they put money aside so you could see, they could take chances on a band that wasn't necessarily deemed to be huge. Mm-hmm. And they could take some chances on things. And today, they don't do it, so these artists can't get through. And live venues don't really pull them through either, because they want to play it safe. So it's like, no, I'd rather have an AC/DC cover band playing than, the local guys that have AC/DC as one of their heroes and write their own 70s type rock and roll. And I think that kills a lot of creativity. It makes it all really gentrified. It's the same with fine arts. If you're going to survive today as an artist, you have to jump on the whole lowbrow movement, more or less. Everybody has to make.
I've seen it. It's
crazy stuff to do t-shirts, and I'm sure a lot of these guys would prefer not to.
Right. Back in the day, there used to be, and I'm not saying back in my day, but I'm kind of thinking back to the time of McNay.
Mm-hmm.
When she was alive and she had her mansion and stuff, and she supported the local artists. She invited them to come in and paint and stuff. And even back when Georgia O'Keeffe was around, she went to New Mexico to be around other artists. And it was like a compound that supported the artist community.
Right.
You know, and it's like, wow, that is awesome. That would be amazing if stuff like that could still exist.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Those patronages, if you so want, are disappearing. And especially, like, I know they exist in big cities because you have the token punk club where, you know, anyone that's willing to drag their gear there are allowed to play. But in small towns like this, they all play it safe, and you get this cover band status. And then I've never really understood either certain people's fascination for idolizing one person so much that you want to do a tribute to that extent.
I don't know. I don't understand. I've never been one to like really enjoy cover bands. I think they're kind of corny.
Neither
have
I.
If it's done well, I'm like, yeah, well done.
Yeah, but even there, when it comes to creativity,
I'm not going to go around following cover bands.
No, but
you know,
when
in
it
a
comes
local
to that
music
creativity,
scene.
I've never understood that one person with enough talent and money to actually buy their musical equipment and put in all this time and effort into learning how to play. Like, be really good at it. Mm-hmm. To be so immersed in, like, you know, Angus Young, for instance, from the guitar player from AC/DC. And it becomes, you learn every lick just the way he did it. And, you know, you have to, but you buy the same amplifier as he did. And, you know, you figure out the settings he had. And you
have his exact sound.
Yeah, and you become this carbon copy
your own sound.
Right, and you become this carbon copy of, well, the big ones, I guess, to become carbon copies of is Angus Young from AC/DC, AC Frehley from Kiss, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. I've never understood that. Maybe it's because when I started learning guitar as a young kid, not that I was a very big fan of Michael Schenker, who played in UFO and Scorpions, but I saw this documentary where he was in, and he was always like, well, they talked about his influences because he had a very specific sound. And he's like, when I really got serious about this, I stopped listening to music. I just went in to do my own thing. And I think I brought that with me in terms of I love music, I listen to music, but when it comes to me playing the guitar, I do it. I have my influences. I know what I like, but I don't sit around and say, I think tonight I'm going to
imitate everything that they,
Right. I just do my own thing.
You may have their influences, but you're not imitating.
Right.
What
not
they've
imitating
done.
them at all. I don't care what guitars they played or what amps they used or what settings they used. I dial in what I like.
Right.
Because
you have your own ear.
Yeah, and I have my own style. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't want people to say that, you know, oh, Chris, he sounds just like so-and-so. I'd like people to say that, you know, he's got a unique style or sound.
Exactly. And that's what I like to hear whenever I hear something new.
Right.
You know, even if it's, you know, country or Americana or whatever. But, you know, I mean, to me, that kind of music, it is something, there has to be this specific combination for me to turn on my light bulb and say, oh, I kind of like that song, or I like how they sing or something. But
right, but to me, a lot of these
people out there right now that aren't sparking it for me.
No, and to me, it's like that spark. I don't get it from cover bands, because especially the ones that are a little bit more diversified, I guess. So, you know, they play like, let's say, more 70s rock in general. Uh-huh. Why don't you take all your influences you have there, put it in your own musical blender, so to speak, and do your own thing? I mean, a big shout out, for instance, to my friend Nicky Andersson, who played with the Helicopters, Imperial State Electric, etc. huge fan of 70s rock in general. Even bigger Kiss fan.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when you listen to an Imperial State Electric album, you can hear the influence, but it's his distinct own style and sound as well.
Yeah.
And that to me is cool. Yeah, you're taking all this stuff you love, and your love for it shows through your music, but at the end of the day, it's completely his style.
Right. And so, I mean, to deviate from the whole cover band thing in this local area, how would you go about trying to find a good band to follow, you know?
You really, today, I think you got to do a lot of legwork yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be active on Spotify, on SoundCloud, Facebook, and YouTube. Because that's where a lot of like good independent bands are. You know, they make their own videos and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you just got to take that risk of clicking through, I would say, 10 bad bands to find that one good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically how I've found a lot of newer stuff that I do like. And for me, like I've said before, I use Google Play a lot. So when I listen to something that I know I like, and then I get all these recommendations, because they're good at spreading it from, you know, big names,
yeah,
to the newest, most underground thing.
Yeah, I have to give Google Play a shout out.
What I tend to do is
they do recommend some pretty interesting.
Yeah, but what I do is I click a lot of these, or I write down the names of these underground bands I've never heard, and then I click on them and listen, and like I said, 9 times out of 10, I go, oh, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But that's how I found bands like The Cry, Biters, Honeymoon Disease, a lot of bands. You just got to be really active in following along. If you see an event thing, even if it's further away, you know, with bands on Facebook, try to find them on YouTube or something and listen and see if you like them. Yeah,
that is a good idea.
That's how I found pretty much everything new that didn't have any, you know. That's another thing today, like you said, a lot of people from a band that you liked way back when kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They move on, and we don't really know about it.
And then they show up all of a sudden at a venue that's like right down the street from us.
Yeah, but you miss it because you don't know their name. But I try to follow along with stuff like that.
Yeah.
That, he played with that band, and then he went and play with these guys, and they weren't that good, but I liked the bass player from there, and now he's playing there. You just kind of really got to do the legwork.
What bothers me is that people use like their names because it's their solo act or whatever. And it's like, can you maybe call yourself by a band name or something? Give yourself a band name, because I'm not going to remember Todd Jones, you know, playing the guitar or something.
I don't really understand that ego. I think it's because they think that it'll generate a broader audience.
Yeah, because when I listen to music, I listen for the band, and then if there's something about a specific member of the band, then maybe I'll delve a little bit more into who they are.
Member's name from the band, you wouldn't know the new band they're in either.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing though, is that it's kind of hard to do that, because I just don't understand why people don't form bands anymore. Why they all think that they deserve to go solo. I don't know.
Because honestly, a lot of time in a band, it's
I guess maybe the more people, more conflict, you know, but you
still have a band around it, like a backing band.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like music is very often not dependent on one person's strength as a musician as much as it is the communal effort of the band. Mm-hmm. As in, you know, those guys together at that time is what created the magic. It's not... I don't know. We'll take the Sex Pistols. Steve Jones sounds great in the Sex Pistols playing the guitar.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't make them. It's that those four
guys, the combination
of them that made it. Because he hasn't done that kind of magic ever since. And I mean, Joe Strummer and The Clash, if you had both Mick Jones, well, all of them went, with new bands after The Clash, but none of it sounds as good as The Clash, because it's not the combination of those people. Even if Mick Jones is a great guitarist, but the people he played with later, it wasn't the same magic. So I think it's a little bit presumptuous to go out as a solo act, because even if you're great as a solo act, chances are you're that great because your backup band is really there with you as well.
Right.
So get yourself band names, guys.
Call yourself the Lone Ranger or something. I don't know.
That's a good name. The Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger. If you're going to go solo and call yourself the Lone Ranger. I'll remember that name. I'll be like, oh yeah, I heard this guy. His name was like the Lone Ranger. That's pretty cool.
Right.
I'll remember that. Other than like John Smith or something, Yeah,
or at least give yourself a unique stage name to begin with.
Right.
So we can remember it. Yep.
And I want to say welcome to the new listeners. We have a new follower from SoundCloud. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Dropping out.
So I think that's all we have for today.
Yeah, that's today's episode. Let us know what
Sorry,
you guys
we were
think.
a bit late. Don't forget you can comment, leave us emails.
Comment on our Facebook page.
Share with your friends.
Yes, tell your
let
friends
them know
all about us.
How interesting we are. And if you don't let them know, that's fine. We're going to do this for us.
Yeah, that's the main reason we do it. Just like how any art should be. It should be your voice, your inner expressions. We're not going anywhere.
Speak out.
And up. Until next week, guys. Maybe it's 6 days. Maybe it'll be 7. Who knows?
Maybe we'll be on time.
You never know.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.